If you're looking for all the answers, I don't have them. But what I do have is a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people who mislead, misrepresent, or just misinform the sports card industry. So if you don't do that, I'll let it go. You're cool. But if you do, I'm going to talk about you. Guys, welcome back to another episode of the Sports Card Investigator. My name is Andy and I am the aforementioned Sports Card Investigator. So happy to be here today with another episode. Before I start, I want to say thank you, because thank yous are important in this world that we live in. A big thank you to Brett from Stacking Slabs, Dustin, the personal finance dad, and Mark, the real Markleberry on IG, for their kind words. They did not go unnoticed. They are never expected, but they are always appreciated, and I thank you guys very much for doing so. Boy, last episode about LaMelo, that generated some healthy discussion, and I was really surprised that it stirred up some controversy that I, for one, did not expect. I mean, I thought I made it clear that I think LaMelo is on a trajectory to be great. I mean, if you've seen what he's done over even his last few games, he's been out of this world, and he is playing so well. The only point I was trying to make was that, was it or wasn't it a good time to buy LaMelo Ball? Or would it serve us better to wait and see what his prices did in the long run? And as of this taping, his card price for that NBA Hoops base card was about $25. Could this be the floor that's been established? Could be. He got down to $21 a few days ago and seems to have leveled out at $25. So we'll have to keep close eye on that. And with the release of Certified, and as of this taping today, Donruss being released for the low price of $999 if you were unlucky enough to get it on Panini. Time's going to tell, right? But I mean, you could buy 40 LaMelos for one box of Donruss. Just saying. It's funny, I had one comment on the video that I kind of laughed at. It asked if I was from the 19th century because I needed a younger person's perspective when it came to LaMelo. I get it, guys. I'm old. I'm an old guy, but I'm not that old. I'm not that old. But look, if this video brought some thought-provoking, subject matter and made for good discussion, then that is all that matters, and that's what I am striving to do. So, as it usually happens, I had a topic in mind to talk about today, and I'm going to talk about it shortly, kind of like our last episode. But with this the nature of this industry, things happen. Things happen quick. So, what happened? Well, maybe the worst kept secret in the sports card industry happened. PSA raised their prices across the board. And if you had your cards ready for grading, and you heard rumblings on the message boards or Discord weeks ago, I hope you got your submissions in before the rise in prices. So what does this rise of PSA prices mean to you? I have no idea. But any content provider that comes on and tells you it's going to be A, B, C, and D, and they're set in stone, they're just guessing. They're just guessing, because everyone's situation is different, right? As far as me, the formula that I have, nothing is going to change, right? My formula stays the same with PSA. If it makes sense to grade with them, then I'm going to grade with them. And if it doesn't, then I won't. Another thing that's come up, will I be looking for other grading companies for cards that don't make the financial cut for PSA? Sure, I will, but I'm not going to come out and tell you today, go to BGS or SGC or whatever they are, HGA, because I don't know. I haven't done my proper research. So I think it would be a disservice to just say, go throw your cards into one grading company without doing the proper financial and research to see if it actually makes fiscal sense. And by the time you see this, you're going to see all kinds of content creators coming out that are going to put their 2 cents in the topic. And I already watched a few of them, and they have their hypotheses, conspiracy theories. Some have charts and graphs and all kinds of stuff. Check them out if you want. Feel free, right? But here's the deal. If it makes sense for you to grade a card with PSA, then grade the card. It's not rocket science. You guys know my formula. Take the price of the card that you paid for it, right? Add the price of grading. Add 25 to 30%. If that's equal or less than the price of a PSA 9, grade it. You're fine, right? And as far as why PSA has raised their prices, they did. Who cares? It really doesn't enter into my thought process of why they're raising prices. Either I'm going to use them or I'm not, right? And my opinion on why they did it, as I said, it means nothing. It's just an opinion. But to me, again, it's a simple thing. The price of a bulk grade has gone up almost threefold since last year. It was $9, now it's $25, right? So if by raising it to $25 for a value grade, if they cut their submissions by 2/3, right, then PSA cuts down on submissions, they catch up on their backload, and they reap the same revenue. Because they raise prices across the board, not just with value, and you can look at that. And while I'm on a rant, I know I'm kind of getting a little ahead of myself here, but if a content provider says don't submit a certain card, like I would not submit this card going forward, make that decision for yourself. They don't know what's best for you. Half of them don't even know what's best for themselves. Make your own decision, right? So if we submit the PSA or we don't, that's the bottom line. If it makes fiscal sense, we do. If it doesn't, then we don't. Make an informed decision based on the facts at your disposal, and you will be fine. Trust in yourself. So as you guys know, I talk to my son and we brainstorm on topics before I put something together. And he always tells me, he goes, you don't have to be perfect when you do your videos. Just go talk to people. I do, but if you're going to give me your time, I want to make sure that I give you something that you can kind of sink your teeth into and think about. So I do put time and effort into this, because if you're giving me your time, then I think I owe you to give you my best effort. So I talked to my son about topics, we brainstorm, and as part of the process, I try my best not to go on the route that most content providers are providing, you know, best cards to buy under this price, you know, going to the card store. That's all fine and dandy, but I'm just trying to give you guys a little bit something different. I think that's a new thing now, is right, driving around the card stores and talking to people. And it's no secret, and I'm guilty of it, that the content creator industry is a copycat industry, because we see a topic and we all talk about it. We give our own opinions, which is good, and it's food for thought. That's all it is food for thought. Take that information from everyone, all sources, and make your own decisions. Just watch all the PSA videos and discussion you're about to see, including mine, but I digress. So this topic I want to talk about today came pretty organically. We were talking about theories regarding collecting in general, and there's a movie. Yeah, I love movies. I mean, there's no secret for you guys that have watched me in the past. And there's a movie called The Devil's Advocate with Keanu Reeves and the great Al Pacino. The movie itself's out there. I mean, I don't think it got really the best reviews. It's kind of weird, but it has some memorable lines, and the lines in this one are very simple, but there is a line that Al Pacino, who plays the devil in this movie, he talks to Keanu Reeves right before he has to make quite a decision. If you watch the movie, you'll know what I mean. And Al just looks at Keanu Reeves and says, "Free will, it is a bitch." And you know, he's right? Free will, it is a bitch. It's the decisions we make not only in this hobby, but in life, that sometimes determine the success and failure that we'll encounter. Pretty deep stuff, huh? It's not meant to be. It's just to illustrate a point. And I think I'm trying to drive it home in this episode is think for yourself. And there isn't a problem, as I said before, of listening to all sides. Just weigh all the facts and think for yourself and make your own decisions. So for this topic, I have to give credit where credit is due, and I have to give credit to my son Tyler on this. We're talking about a subject that has, for whatever, has become pretty controversial in this hobby. It's kind of the elephant in the room, so to speak. And after we were outlining the episode, he said, there are two ways to sum up the collecting industry. And I was intrigued. I'm like, wow, 2 ways? You've come up with 2 ways to sum up the collecting industry? Enlighten me, my son. I'm very interested to hear. And Tyler said, either things are until they aren't, or things aren't until they are. Wow. Think about that. I wish I'd come up with that, because it's broken down in the most simplistic terms, and he's 100% right. You can apply that to anything we do in this industry. I mean, Pokemon cards. Are Marvel cards a thing now? If PSA prices, are people going to stop grading base cards? Are there new players on the grading scene, right? Either things are until they aren't, or they aren't until they are. And time will tell on almost everything. But today, there is a polarizing player that has taken the collecting world by storm, and it has been met with both enthusiasm and outright disdain. It has been touted as the next big thing and has been fodder for hysterical memes and jokes and has been dismissed out of hand. And it's interesting that something can come along and create such rigmarole, right? Always wanted to use that word, rigmarole. Perfect place for it. And previously I mentioned that content creators by definition is a copycat industry. So before I continue, guilty as charged. Now before I start, let me get this out of the way. I am in no way affiliated or paid by or endorsed by NBA Top Shot. I said it. I said the dirty word, NBA Top Shot. I have watched numerous videos on NBA Top Shot, and every content creator that speaks positively about it is accused of somehow being affiliated with NBA Top Shot or being a shill for them. But this is a perfect example of what my son was talking about. Is Top Shot a thing that is until it isn't, or something that isn't until it is, or maybe a little bit of both? So back in January, I watched Vegas Finds, Chris from Vegas. I watch everything, right? So I watched Chris from Vegas Finds. He put out a video on this thing called NBA Top Shot, and he's been on it. To his credit, he's been on it since the very, very beginning. And he talked about non-fungible tokens and cryptocurrency, and he had the guy from Dapper Labs that runs it on, and whoosh, right over my head, right? But it did pique my interest a bit. My last episode, I mentioned a quote by Charles Duhigg, I think how you pronounce his name. And he said, between calculated risk and reckless decision-making lies a dividing line between profit and loss. So I take that to heart. It's something I live by. So after the episode, I went on to the Top Shot website and I signed up for an account and bought a bunch of packs for $9 each. They were there. They were openly ready. I could have bought 1,000 packs if I wanted to, but I bought like 10 or 12 packs. And I'll admit, it was fun, right? You buy a pack, you open it up, the music comes on, it goes all this crazy stuff, the players come out, and it was instant gratification. It was almost like a video game. A couple days later, I went back and I just went on their marketplace and I saw a couple of guys that I like in the card industry, right? And I bought a couple guys, right? And I think one was from a rare limited edition. The total investment was like $150. So to me, this was the definition of a calculated risk. A chance of failure the probability of which is estimated before the action is undertaken. Okay? It was not a lot of money to me. Everybody's circumstances are different. And if Top Shot went the way or is going to go the way of the pet rock, so be it. So after I bought the packs and the players, I mentioned Top Shot to my son. He didn't get the appeal at that time, and I get it. I mean, that's fine. I mentioned it to my wife, and she looked at me and said, "You bought a video clip that you can watch on YouTube for free at any time?" So I changed the subject. I mentioned it to my friends in the community, and I was met with the same type of reaction. You know, they weren't into it. Different strokes for different folks. So, you know, after that, I kind of just forgot about it, and that was it. Weeks later, I think it was last week actually, I saw Dustin, the personal finance dad. He did a video on NBA Top Shot, and I messaged him and I told him the story that I just told you guys. And Dustin messaged me back with a link. I think it's called Moment Ranks, where you can basically put in your username and then it pops up, gives you your rank in Top Shot and the value, at least on paper, of your collection. So I did that, and I put in my username, and my $157 investment on this Moment Ranks had a 6,000% return on investment. Now, look, it's monopoly money. It doesn't mean anything to me right now. I don't have any illusions that the value of this collection is actually worth what it says or will ever come to fruition. But after I saw what the site was valuing my collection at, I just took a little bit of a deeper dive into NBA Top Shot. And I read anything I could find on this subject. I mean, is Top Shot here to stay? I have no idea. I don't know. I do know they're making a lot of money, and they are associated with the NBA, and a lot of NBA players, as well as some major influential people in the industry, not sports card industry, but in the NBA and outside the NBA, have endorsed them. I don't know what's in it for them. You know, maybe they get a piece of the pie. You just don't know, right? And I know they had more than $230 million in sales. Some of their accounts on paper are worth several $1 million, and they've had sales of moments, these clips, of upwards of $200,000. And I think their market cap was like $1.6 billion. It's crazy. It's just crazy, right? I can't wrap my head around it. They emerged from a licensing agreement from the NBA and its players union they made with the Dapper Labs, and the NBA can solicit 10 to 15% of the sales from the company who's leveraging their intellectual property. Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban compared Top Shot to old school model of trading cards where consumers can have fun trading and collecting scarce items with no risk of damage or theft, and the value is set by the same laws of supply and demand. Now, quite frankly, I disagree. I don't think you can compare trading cards with NBA Top Shot, but Mark Cuban, like anyone else, is entitled to their opinion. But here's the thing, they're not sports cards, right? They're not a physical thing. They don't have anything to do with sports cards, in my opinion, although the people that we collect the same players. It's just another collectible, like coins or records. To me, it's apples and oranges. Now, you guys know my take on the sports card industry and some of the pet peeves I have with it, right? It's the wild, wild west. No regulations. It's ripe for scams. We read about them every day, and there are some bad actors out there. And the one thing I will say about NBA Top Shot, at least now, is that it's a regulated industry. There's no grading. There's no scams. All transactions are traceable and done in one place. All series of moments are limited from 50 to 15,000. No bots are allowed, at least they're trying to crack down. No scamming. You can't have multiple counts. Everyone has an equal chance to get a pack when they drop. They actually have an interesting thing where if they're going to have a pack drop, you go into a waiting room, and when the pack's ready to drop, you're assigned a number. And it's just randomized. So everyone has the same chance at a pack. And for the most part, these packs are affordable. They start at about $9, and you get 3 moments for that. All trading and selling is done on their site, so it seems as though they're trying to do the right thing. They actually have a code of conduct that must be adhered to for you to be part of the community. But it is not meant without negatives, okay? Some of the things that I've seen is people trying to withdraw their money. They're having a hard time doing that. Although I read before I came down that people are starting to be able to do that because it's a whole know your customer and they have to go through a certain process. I know for a fact they were not ready for the tremendous growth that they are seeing. Their website is down, it seems, more than it's up. The marketplace where you buy and sell seems to be down, and there are huge swings in the market as people are just starting to get into it and people are just trying to feel their way through it. And right now, I'm not a web guy, but they're still in their beta stage. So I guess some of this is expected because they have not scaled as of now. As I mentioned before, I think they did $240 million in sales. They have a market cap of $1.6 billion. As I said, many accounts have values of millions of dollars. There have been several 5-figure sales and some 6-figure sales topping out at 200 grand. So people are either really stupid or really smart. The jury is still out, and time will tell. Is it real money? No clue. I haven't tried to cash out yet. I just have my, whatever it is, 14 moments on there. And there's a lot of money being poured into this company. I read yesterday that they just announced a licensing agreement with the UFC, and they are going to create digital collectibles for UFC. So is baseball and football far behind? I don't know. No idea. Another interesting thing I noticed is that these packs that you can buy for $9, and in fact, last weekend, anyone who was a new member of NBA Top Shot, you go into the waiting room and you were guaranteed one pack. I guess they're doing that just to try to appease everyone because there's been so many issues. And I noticed on eBay, which is going to be another issue for them, the packs are on eBay for $200, and some have already been sold for $200 and $250 for a $9 pack. So that crap's already starting. And what does that mean? I have no idea, but there is a market, and I think there are going to be challenges along the way that they're going to have to deal with. So, am I here to endorse NBA Top Shot or not endorse it? No, I have no idea if it's going to be here next year or it's going to be gone tomorrow. If it's the next big thing or the next big nothing, right? No idea, but time will tell. But it's been such a polarizing topic, I just wanted to bring it up. So that's my information on NBA Top Shot, right? Haters are going to hate, and those who are on board are going to defend it till the end. It is what it is, right? I'm neither. My goal, as always, is just to provide you with some information so you can make an informed decision either way. Because in reality, it's only your decision to make with anything regarding life, sports cards, Top Shot, Pokemon, Marvel cards, you name it. It's your decision. And it's just your decision to make, no one else's, right? And remember what Al said, free will, it is a bitch. So I'll leave you with that. Until next time, hey, if you like what you're saying, hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you don't like what you're saying, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Community is growing. I love doing this with you guys. So until next time, take care.